Looks like my camera is a little high. If you are here, say hello. My name is Bri. I'm the owner and artist of Upcycled by Bri, and today we are going to do a little paint and a little decoupage paper. I'm going to brighten us up just a little bit here. It is cloudy in Kansas. Not much natural light to work with. That's better. Ooh, it's bright in my face. All right. Looks like I have a few people on. Hey, Rashonda. Hey, Elaine. Good morning, everybody. All right. So today I'm going to do a classic paint finish. I haven't done it forever. It is Apothecary and white wax, both DIY products. I've gotten a million questions this week about my buffet. It's been in some pictures for staging, and I don't have a video on that one, so I'm going to recreate the finish here on these candlesticks. I got these yesterday. I ran by the thrift store, the Giving Tree, here in Topeka, and guess the prices. I want to hear a couple guesses. They were priced separately, and I do get my 30% off, but what do you think I paid for these before my discount? Good morning, Virginia and Lisa. Hello, everybody. What do we think Bri paid? We got $2.87, $1.99, $2.99. You guys are good guessers. Wow. You must watch my videos and know what I pay for things, huh? So $2.95, $1.95, about $5 between the two, so about $3.50 after my discount. Amazing prices. These are wood, but it looks like somebody spray painted over them with copper and then put like a little bit of like a green verdigris or however you pronounce that. And the crevices, I'm not digging it, so we're gonna fancy it up. Hey, Diane from Idaho. Oh, and then I have this vintage silverware box. It doesn't have the silverware, but it is in good condition. Now, it needs cleaned up a little. My girl, Jessie from Urban Legends Antiques posted a dresser the other day. It had beautiful velvet drawers, and she like completely cleaned them. Motivated me to get this out. I have already given it a coat of DIY white Swan, and then I put some new feet on it because it was missing its feet. And then I was going to let you guys decide if we should paint the feet or not. So we'll get to that. Lisa said it's hard to find those prices in California. I agree, Lisa. I just got back from a trip to California recently, and I paid $16 for a sandwich that was the size of my hand. It was good, but not $16 good. That could store a ton of paintbrushes. Hey, thank you, Rashonda. I appreciate that. You guys, I have listed, that reminds me, haha. I haven't had enough coffee today. I have listed these two items over on my site, upcycledbybri.com. They are in a new collection called Painted Live. The candlesticks, I believe, were $28.95 and $26.95 on the box. And then I'll update the pictures once I have them painted. I was thinking you could do makeup, jewelry, paintbrushes, or of course silverware if you've got a silver set and you're needing an updated box, right? All right, the paint and products I'm using you can also find on my site, upcycledbybri.com, under the DIY paint collection. So if you have not tied a can opener to your workbench, you should do that. Never go without. And again, I am using, Phyllis says it's blurry. Is it blurry for everybody? If it's not blurry for everybody, Phyllis, try hopping back out and then hopping back in. See if that helps. DIY Apothecary is this beautiful vintage green color. And I'm going to use, I think actually today, my Klingon 035. I really like using these oval brushes on the candlesticks. They really get in those crevices well. And then I've got my brush collection over on my site as well. These brushes are available. So I'm getting blurry, not blurry. If it's blurry for you, hop out, but promise me you'll come right back in. Let's see if that fixes it. Yesterday I went live in my bonus group and I had no sound. Like, what's going on? So while you guys hop out and hop in, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to my website in the comments. How's everybody doing on this Thursday? See, I'm getting, it's blurry, it's not blurry. So y'all, I'm sorry, bear with me. Hop out, hop in. Let's see what we can do. I am going to clean these up. They don't look too bad, a little dusty with just some basic Windex. Windex is actually a great multi-use cleaner. I don't really use it too much on furniture. I usually prefer something that's going to be a little more intense of a cleaner when I'm doing my furniture. But on the smalls, this Windex is perfect. Hey, Pass Forward Shop. Oh, goodness, remind me your name. It's not Desiree. That's... I'm sorry. You guys, I'm friends with a lot of these people on Facebook under their real names, and so many of them have businesses. I can't remember. All right, Elaine, I'm sorry. She says it's still semi-blurry. I will work on that. I plan to start going live every Thursday, and then I'm going to alternate between AM and PM, but I'll make that announcement over in community and on my social as well. Heather Varga. Thank you, Heather. I knew that. Just testing you. All right, so one coat I think is going to really cover these pretty well. We might end up doing about a coat and a half. I want to get pretty full coverage. I don't want too much of that copper really to peek back through. This is going to be Apothecary with some white wax. Leave me a comment if you have used DIY paint before. I know a lot of you have. I know I've got a couple other retailers on here watching, and I know some of you have ordered. I've got all sizes of this Apothecary in stock, as well as white wax too. I made sure of that before I used it. And I'm not gonna lie, this green color and the copper go really pretty together. I'm getting a little bit of beading up here over the spray paint, which is kind of surprising. DIY covers really well, but there must be a little shiny resist in that metallic spray paint. But don't you worry. Coat and a half will be good to go. Lori says she's used it before and she loves Apothecary. This is one of the finishes I started with a couple of years ago. I borrowed it from Miss Jamie Ray Vintage. It's very French country. And as we are moving more into like the farmhouse, the cottage core style, this remains to be a popular finish for me. So I continue to use it. And it's really pretty in winter too. If you don't like so much the like red and green traditional winter colors, and maybe you go a little more black, white, silver, gold, this Apothecary goes really well. Leanne says she's used Apothecary and cake batter before and she loved both. I agree too. Cake batter is a really muted yellow, and it's another one of my top sellers for sure. It was a little more popular in summer and fall, but very pretty color. So I'm going to do a coat on these, and then we'll do a little bit of decoupage while they dry a bit. Not bad, not bad. So here we go with one coat coverage. As you can tell, it's covering very nicely. Good morning from England. Hello, Patricia. I almost grabbed the wet one. I told you guys I need more coffee. I had some early this morning. I thought about one more cup before this, but sometimes that's a bad idea. I'm a bit of a paint slapper. I want this finish to look good and antique. That wax is gonna really grab onto the brush strokes and the texture, so I'm not worried about a little bit of a few brush strokes on this, not at all. But I will tell you what, these Klingon brushes really provide a smooth finish if you're looking for that as well. Leslie was saying if you guys are still blurry, maybe try closing out your app and coming back in. It might be, my kid is on the internet, but I really have pretty good internet. And I'm kind of far away from my box, but you know what? That's just how it is sometimes. And I have been a little MIA lately, if you haven't noticed. If you've been following me, I moved into this new house Been super busy in a one-man show here at my business. So I've been slacking on the videos a little bit, but this month I am dedicated. We're doing 2 edited videos every week, which will be Sunday and Tuesday, like usual. And then every Thursday will be a live. This is going to be called Show Me Your Junk. And we'll paint, or we'll do a thrift haul, something like that. All right, I've got a base coat on both of those. I'm thinking another half a coat or so and they'll be good. I'm gonna let them dry up just a little bit and we're gonna move on to some decoupage paper. So the decoupage paper I carry has its own collection as well over on my site, and it is by Jamie Ray Vintage. Now it's 18-pound paper, and that refers to the thickness of the paper. 18 pounds is actually very, very thin, which means it's going to be easy to work with. It's gonna lay really nicely, but it's durable enough that it's not just gonna fall apart on you. The pages are 30 inches across, 20 inches tall, which make them great to just plaster right onto a piece of furniture. Or with a lot of these, you can take some of the little individual pieces, cut them apart, and make multiple projects. These are $6.95 a sheet. Again, one big project out of it or a bunch of little ones, and they ship flat rate for $1.95. So if decoupage paper is the only thing you're buying, $1.95 shipping, which is great. Not blurry, not blurry. Okay. Okay, we're gonna quit talking about the blurriness. Maybe it'll just go away. Oh, my daughter just stubbed her toe. You okay, Shiggy? So again, this, if you're just hopping on, this vintage silverware box didn't have the silverware, but I thought paintbrushes, makeup brushes, jewelry, or of course silverware. You could think of a million different things to put in here. It's in good shape. I'm gonna clean the velvet up really nicely before I ship it out. I have done 1 coat of DIY white Swan on the top and the sides. Before I ship it, I will paint the bottom, get that all finished. Oh, and then I replaced the feet. It had 2 feet, the rest were falling apart. I cut these off of a pair of old legs I had and secured them on permanently. Rashonda says she loves their paper. She's glad they went with the 18-pound paper, and I agree. It is super durable. Oh, I've got some friends over here just hanging out. They were on top of my candlesticks. How cute are these? I found these yesterday with the candlesticks, and they were in the same bag. I've added these to my site too. They're in the Vintage Found and Antique collection. I'm a sucker for critters. I'm going to go ahead and drop my site here again. If you're watching the replay, I will have more specific links in the description box for you. If you need me to drop you a specific link, if you're having a hard time finding something, just let me know and I will do that. Leslie's on her 2nd cup of coffee. Leslie, I'm jealous. Okay, so now what we need to decide is which area we're going to use. I was thinking, pull this back just a little. I was thinking I wanted to get as many of the birds on here as I could, I think. Or I could put it off to the side a little, but that would cut the birds like in half. But it does have this really pretty design up in the corner. I could line it up with some of these lines right here and save the edge for another project. But that would chop a bird's head. I think we'll just go ahead and center the birds up as much as possible. And it's just, ooh, I can wrap those. We're going to try to wrap the birds around the top of the lid. Why did I say that? All right, let's see what happens. So there's a million different ways. Eggnog, I didn't see that. Sorry, I got distracted. Leslie said she's putting eggnog in her coffee. Very interesting. I'm gonna have to try that. There's a million different ways to decoupage. I am super basic. I've got a pair of good scissors. Not over here, apparently. That's all right. And I am going to just cut my excess off the bottom first, since I want a little bit of that to wrap around. It's not going to be able to wrap over the bottom part. Actually, it probably could. Oh, I'm making that too hard. It's too much pressure for the first time on a live. All right, we're not gonna wrap it. That's too much work. Maybe, we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna cut off my excess first. Let's do that first. A lot of people tear their decoupage paper. Totally cool too. But I want to make sure I can save the scraps on this because the edge of this one's really pretty. And I'm afraid if I try to tear it, I'm gonna tear too much into that design. All right, that will work. Oh, these scissors suck. Good enough. Looks like a kindergartner cut them. Look how pretty the edge is though. All right, so now here's what I've got left. I really want some of those words on there. I think I'm gonna kind of center the edge up, or line the edge up with this line on the side. And that way I can get some of the words. I'm a sucker for wording. Okay, so then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this little extra off too. Now the rest of this is gonna hang over the edge and we will tackle it as we go. A little bit of sandpaper, a little bit of water, and we'll get the edges cleaned up. Okay, and then that's just gonna be the head hanging out over there. Okay. Sorry, birdie. I hate cutting. I hate cutting into the good parts of the paper. It's okay. I've got more. All right. Hey, Christy, how are you? No questions so far, no links needing dropped. I'm going to decoupage with my liquid patina today. This is a multi-use product by DIY. You can use it as a transfer gel, a decoupage medium, a top coat. I like it. It dries pretty fast and hard, but pretty matte. Now, it does dry faster than the Big Top. So if you're newer to decoupage and you need something that's going to dry a little slower, Big Top might be a good choice for you, but Big Top is a little shinier. So it's really up to preference. And of course, you can decoupage with any top coat you have on hand. This is what I have though. And I know a lot of people use Mod Podge too. All right, good deal. Can we see? Looks like it. So I am going to use just a sponge brush and my, ooh, hopefully, okay, phew. It's like, hopefully I can open this and I don't look like a weak person on video here. Oh, we've got a little, this happens, liquid patina booger. It gets stuck to the lid where it dries up on the lid a little. No worries, just pull it out. So this, I don't ever want to double dip into my container. DIY products are all natural and you run the risk of contaminating. I'm just gonna pour a little bit out here because I've done this a few times. I know about how much product I need. I'll start with a thin layer of the liquid patina on the top and just spread it out here with my sponge brush. It is definitely cooling down here. We had a nice long fall for sure. Sometimes we have snow here in Kansas on Halloween, but this year we had a nice long fall, but it is definitely cooling down. It's cloudy today. It's feeling like winter. So this weekend I'm going to decorate for Christmas and that will be Sunday's video. At least get started. All right, so nice thin layer of the liquid patina on here. And then we are going to lay our paper down on top. You have a little wiggle room if you mess up, but you really want to try to lay it down right the first time. Yes, liquid patina booger. All right. Now, I do love, okay, let me focus. Focus. I'm going to turn my heater off real quick. That fan will probably run for a second. Sorry, I forgot to do that. This house is little, so you can hear it all. I do like a nice distressed look. So if I have a few wrinkles, Not a big deal to me. If you want a wrinkle-free look, I think there's like an iron method. I might have to look that up and give it a shot. Okay, now I'm just going to take a brayer. This is my IOD brayer. You can use any brayer, and I do have one linked down in my Amazon shop under crafting supplies, I do believe. Again, if you're watching the replay, all those links will be listed down in my description box for you. Quick links to my website, and to my Amazon shop, to all my social media. I've got a fun bonus group over on Facebook, or I'm sorry, a creative group over on Facebook where you guys can drop videos. If you're YouTubers, you can drop project pictures, you can ask questions, get inspiration, and that's all free. Then I've got my bonus group here on YouTube. If you want more information on that, you can click the community tab where I go live twice a month on Wednesdays, answering business questions and talking about life. I usually do some kind of craft or show a haul. All kinds of fun stuff going. All right, so like I said, I'm just using my brayer here. I'm going over it a few times and I'm not getting any tears. So that's how durable the paper is. Kind of working in, if you have bubbles or wrinkles, working from the middle outwards is good. I nailed the application on that first try, so I didn't have too many bubbles or wrinkles. What do we think so far? Leslie said she has much needed rain. Oops, I just tore it right there holding it up. And right there, it's fine. Don't do that. Like I said, I will distress it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Leslie said she had a lot of much needed rain and all of their leaves are falling. I've been posting some really pretty pictures on my social media of the trees around here. That is one thing I love about Kansas, is we get all 4 seasons and they're pretty. I need a little bit more around the edges, so like I said, I'm going to dump a little here into a separate container. That way I'm not double dipping. So when I held it up, I tore it right there with my thumbs or fingers or whatever. It's okay. So I missed a little bit on the edges with the patina. I'm just going to tap that with a little patina and then roll outwards. Make sure that is on there good. On there well. Then once it is all down, we're going to go in with another coat of the liquid patina or whatever top coat you're using right over the top. That is when you can start to see a little more of the wrinkling. Don't fret, because it will dry better than it looks. All right. I should probably show you guys. Usually I just pour this right on top and spread it out. But I'm going to show you guys the best way to do it. Best practice. Let me get a clean sponge. Doesn't fit. All right, I'm gonna double dip. This one is almost empty. It's fine. We'll double dip it. All right, so thin layer right over the top. Sometimes on live video, you just gotta roll with it, eh? This one barely fits in the container either. Do as I say, not as I do. Since this is a box that's going to be opened a couple of times, I will let this coat dry, distress it down, and then I'll probably do a second coat of the liquid patina off camera, just for some extra durability. If it was a piece of like hanging wall decor or something, one layer of top coat would be plenty, but since it's going to be an opening enclosed used item, we'll give it some extra protection. And again, these are already listed on my site, Unpainted Pictures, under the Painted Live collection. If you're catching the replay, all those links will be down below. And then once these are finished, I will update pictures as well. All right, quit messing with it. Sweet. I'm going to let it dry just like this with the little flaps hanging over. One coat of liquid patina underneath and one coat on top. And while that dries up a bit, we will move on. How long have we been on here? 25 minutes. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to use my heat gun to finish drying these. Sometimes in this old house, it blows the little surge protector strip thing, so I might have to reset that, but it will be okay. These are all the little tricks of the house I'm learning as my crafting adventures go here. So this heat gun is just going to dry the paint up a little bit faster for me. If I'm not in a hurry or I'm not painting live, I usually set stuff in front of a fan. That way things can dry and I can work on other things. A little multitasking. Lori said she loves the birds. I love birds too. Birds always sell well for me. Put a bird on it, says the crazy lamp lady. Does anybody watch her? I unplugged like everything else off of my little power strip, so I think, knock on wood, we're gonna be good today. Hey from New Mexico, how are you this morning? Wow, it looks like we've got 72 people on. It looks like a lot of people just hopped on at once. I'm Bri, I'm the owner and artist of Upcycled by Bri, and today we are giving a little update to some thrifted candlesticks. I'm using DIY Apothecary, and then we're gonna hit them with some white wax. The candlesticks, the paint, and the products are all for sale over on my site, upcycledbybri.com, and I can drop that link for y'all right now, maybe. Got paint on my fingers. Aww. Wah wah. Try again. I need a link dropper. There it is. I told Elena, she's got like, I have a daughter. Her name's Elena. She's almost 10. I told her in like 2 years, girl, I know you're smart with a computer. She'll be on here with me, dropping links like a pro. Probably sooner than that. Hey Martha, how are you today? Yes, these do look better already. Who said that? Rashonda, I appreciate it. So I've got one coat on. I'm gonna finish one of them up here live with y'all today, and then I'll finish the other one up off of camera. I guess I probably only really need to dry one then. All right, it's decided. If I ever doubt having coffee before live, just have it anyway. This fall weather makes me sleepy. It's so much easier for me to wake up early, like in the spring and summer. Anybody else? And I mean, I guess probably a lot of that has to do with, you know, when the sun comes up, it's brighter longer in those summer months, but we have daylight savings time coming up too. Not ready for that. It's gonna be dark at like 5 o'clock. Oh, there it went. All right, that's about dry enough, I think, to get a second or like a half coat on. So here we are, coverage with just one coat. It's a little thick right there. You can see a little bit of it peeking through. I think that metallic spray paint was a little, you know, so shiny. It beat it up in just a couple areas. So where I've got it, the copper showing through, I'm gonna give it like a little touch of a half coat because I want these to be very French country, very green, and have the white wax be the highlight. So we're not going to do any distressing on these, which is rare for me. And of course, before I ship them off, I will paint the bottoms, make sure they are perfect. Oh, these are going to be so pretty. I haven't painted a pair of candlesticks for a long time. I also carry the solid wood JRV candlesticks, as well as some of the other woods products. And those are so gorgeous, hand turned, and like just so pretty that I don't like to paint them. I've painted a few with milk paint, but I really like to hit them with just wax or Sweet Pickens oil. The wood is so gorgeous on its own. I'm going to do a little bit of like crosshatch here with my paint strokes. That just means up and sideways because it's going to create a little bit more texture. This clay-based paint is super thick and also highly pigmented, which is why it covers so well, but you can create some amazing texture with just the paint. If you don't like the texture, you can water the paint down a little. You can use a mister bottle and get a smoother finish. But on these, I really want that good cross-hatch texture. That way when I go in with the wax, it sticks. All right, any questions so far? Some people say they want to start decorating, but they're not sure. The reason I'm decorating so early for Christmas is because of my channel. I'm not going to lie. Just to give y'all some ideas, let you know what my style's looking like for this year. And, if you're watching the other big channels, Christmas is everywhere. We've all started selling Christmas already. All the big stores too have been selling Christmas for months. That's why I do it. Generally, like in the years before I started reselling and having a channel, whatever, I would wait till after Thanksgiving. Because I love pumpkins too, and I would leave those pumpkins up all through Thanksgiving. But duty calls. I don't know. I think I need a little extra joy this year anyway. And the Christmas lights and all the pretty decorations, the sentimental decorations. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Alrighty. That's looking good. I keep touching it up there. Let me reset this breaker. I think I can reach it. And we'll finish drying this up. Back in business. Virginia said she's obsessed with Christmas. It's almost time for her to decorate. M. Rodriguez says it's her favorite season. NG said they put fall decorations up late, so they're holding out. I support all of those decisions, for sure. On my front porch, I've got a Christmas rug and a Hello Fall sign. Like, I just need to pull it together. One way or the other, right? I've still got my pumpkins out there, though. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut them up and put them out for the squirrelies. So we will get this dried up. As it's cooling off, I'm going to show you how I take care of the edges on that decoupage paper. Hey Brooke, how are you? Good to see you, or talk to you. Thanks for popping on. I love this green color. What do we think? This is Apothecary. Like I said, a few people have been asking me about my painted buffet in my living room, and I don't have a video on it. So this is the color I used, and I used clear and white wax, which I'll do on here as well. Okay, that's done. We're gonna let this dry for a second on its own. I don't want to pop the big breaker, or then we'll really be in trouble. Okay, so this is still just a little bit wet. I'm going to use the liquid patina while it's wet to tear around the edges. Then once it dries completely, I take a sanding block and smooth the rest out. So we got that nice wet edge, and I'll just start tearing in a downwards motion. And if it leaves a little bit of the excess paper, no worries, because that sanding block will take care of it. But look how nice and seamlessly smooth that will tear if you pull down. If I try to tear upwards, it's just gonna pull it off of the top. And again, like I said, there is a million different ways to decoupage. So if you have a different way that you like, feel free to leave that down in the comments. And then again, I like to do a distressed edge, but if you wanted a nice crisp edge, you could take like a little razor knife like this. I've got a spot right here that's tearing back further than I want, so I'm just gonna cut it a little further forward not using those scissors because they were so dull. Scissors would work too though. And so like it's really dry right there. I think I've got good, here we go. It's really dry right there, so it's not tearing. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the excess off. Like I said, there's a million different ways to go about this. The tearing is easy and it gives a nice authentic edge, but I don't want to mess up my birds. It's easier to tear, it won't really tear much when it's dry. Not controlled at least. Ta-da! Virginia says she blows her big breaker during a project. You go wild running to your breaker box. Yeah, you know, this old house is having a hard time handling all of my things. I've got my ring light on too, and it's okay. I'm gonna need it just a little bit more, so y'all just have to deal with me popping up and down. That's why I put it on a surge strip, so I didn't have to run out back to the big breaker. That'd be bad. Hey, Elena, come here real quick. Let's see if she can hear me. Aha. Do me a favor. The fan in my bedroom, will you put this in front of the fan? Let it dry for a minute. Hold it underneath because the top is wet. Thanks, Chickie. See, already putting her to work. On that box, do you guys think I should paint the feet? Or leave them wood? The wood matches really well with the decoupage paper. Bri, what is my favorite, what's your favorite DIY so far? My favorite DIY paint color, favorite DIY project. What are we referring to there, Miss Rodriguez or Mr.? Leslie said she likes the wood on the feet. I think I do too, Leslie. It gives a nice contrast. I'll ask again when I bring it back out here. So this clay-based paint dries very, very, very matte, as you can see, and I love that matte look. If you like a shinier look, you could use Big Top on this as a top coat to give it a little shine. But I prefer the matte look, which is why I like the wax so much. My favorite DIY project, I really like upcycling things. I love painting thrifted items, but I love to take something old and turn it into something new. So taking old feet off of something, putting them on a tray, cutting old barn wood down into decor boards. Those are some of my favorite projects. We're gonna try one more time. I've got like just a couple spots that aren't quite dry, and that wax will pull the paint off if the paint's not dry. I will figure out this heat gun situation before I go live next Thursday. Darn it. It's so close. Okay, I think we're good. You guys are gonna get the idea. I have a hairdryer too, which may not use as many volts, but it's so much louder. All right. So now I'm gonna go in here with some DIY white wax. Christy says, is Apothecary a turquoise color? I would say it's more like a mint color, a very vintage green. Turquoise is going to be like sea glass. Boho blue is a really dark turquoise. Old 57 is a good turquoise color. If you hop on my site under the DIY paint collection, there are pictures of all the colors as well. I just dropped the link to that if you want to hop to my site and check out the color options. And then there's also a turquoise wax. It's called Shipwrecked. It's really pretty. Okay, so I've got white wax today. That's what we're using. And I love DIY wax because it is so buttery smooth. It's really easy to work with. Again, all natural, so rubbing it on my hand like this does not scare me. but it's so easy to work with because it's so buttery and it really gets down in the creases really well. I gotta dry it just a little bit more right here, or it's gonna pull my paint off. You're welcome, Christy. Christy, are you looking for a good turquoise color? Old 57 is my favorite turquoise. Sea glass is a little darker. Boho blue is the darkest by far. Virginia says to let it cool down. Probably. I'm being impatient. It's okay. I jinxed it again. We're so close. So close. I think maybe putting it directly into the wall next week will be better. We'll figure it out. Hi, Jane. Hey, Jane. Speaking of surprise, I'm going to start going live every single Thursday. I'm going to alternate between 10:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m., but I will post that over on community. So, put that on your calendar. Good to see you. All right, when I do a white wax, the look I'm going for, I use these nasty old chip brushes because they give a beautiful, almost like whitewashed weathered wood effect. I'm just taking it and wiping it off here on my drop cloth. It's gonna like soften it back up and get any of that dried wax off. Christy says she is really digging the Apothecary color. It's really soft. If you're doing a big piece, I would recommend Apothecary. I'll post a picture of my buffet also on community with the announcement about my lives. That way you guys can see the color on a big piece. Okay, so with the DIY wax, I could do a couple of different things here. I could go in with clear first. It's gonna act as a buffer and give me a little more control over the white wax. Or I can go straight with the white wax and get a more intense effect, which is what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna go on pretty heavy, and then I'm gonna wipe back on top, or I'm gonna wipe back like on where everything is raised, and that's gonna keep the wax sitting down in the crevices. Hope that makes sense. Hey Bev, she didn't get a notification I was going live. This is gonna be kind of a new surprise thing. I usually do my lives in the evening, right? But it's a surprise kind of new deal. I didn't really announce it. I just decided to go for it. Live every Thursday, alternating between mornings and evenings, and I'll make a nice big community post for you. I usually take a little bit out and put it on the lid, work from there. Again, that way I'm not double dipping. I'm just gonna take the wax, go right on heavy over the top. Is this too bright? Can you guys see what I'm doing? That white wax, it can get washed out. Now, I'm gonna work in small sections. I'm not gonna cover this whole thing in wax at once because it does dry. The more dry it is, the less you get to work with it. So I've got a nice heavy wax. I'm gonna sit here and watch for a second and see, make sure you guys can see this. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Now, either taking a clean cloth or a paper towel, I'm gonna wipe back the excess. That's gonna take it off the raised parts and leave it sitting right down in those crevices. Takes about a good 24 hours for the wax to dry completely. And then honestly, 30 days for it to cure completely hard. So if you're doing a piece of furniture, give it a good 30 days before heavy use. Let that wax have time to dry. Here we go. So here's just one coat of paint here. We got 2 coats of paint and the wax application. And it's such a classic, pretty look. Very French country. And like I said, this goes really well with Christmas decor too. This green color, if you're more into golds and silvers, black and white Christmas decor, opposed to the traditional red and green. Let's see, how long have we been on? 45 minutes, awesome. So I'm gonna wax this candlestick. We're gonna pull back out the box and show you how I finish up that decoupage paper. So again, working in small sections, applying the wax heavy, wiping back the extra. And again, I wanted to make sure I got that paint dry. If I would have let the paint stay kind of wet and went to do this wax, it would have pulled the paint back off and we would have gone back to copper. I didn't want that to happen. But since I let it dry, you can see here, that paint is not going anywhere. I've seen some other channels where they're using maybe a more of a store-bought paint. They go to put their wax on, it pulls that paint right off their item. And that is super frustrating, I know. Not with the DIY wax. Beautiful. Thank you, Bev. So again, heavy over the paint with the white. And this is a very, very classic look. Super easy, two-step. Now, I just went pretty heavy over the area where I did that crosshatch pattern. I'm gonna wipe back the extra and then I'm gonna let you see how it sits in those brush strokes. Virginia says, please explain why I don't double dip. DIY paint and products are all natural. There's no preservatives in them. So if I have this old nasty brush and I keep dipping it into that container and it gets dirt or germs or whatever in that paint, it's gonna grow mold in the wax. It's gonna grow mold. And then also, like with the white wax, if I'm double dipping an old dirty brush, I run the risk of getting other colors in there. DIY paint is highly pigmented. So if you dip a brush that had red paint into your white wax, you might get pink wax. All right, that white wax is sitting beautifully in all of the little crevices and then really pretty in the brush strokes as well, which is why I love to give the brush strokes when I'm going for that old patinaed look. Hey, Elena, can you bring me that back out, please? Let's see if that box had a second to dry up. If she heard me. Oh, my daughter's home today because she wasn't feeling super great, but it kind of worked out. Hey, Elena. Unless she fell asleep. If so, I'll have to go grab it. Not the end of the world. Virginia said that makes complete sense. You are very welcome. Pink wax, yeah, Jane, no good. Now, the awesome thing though is if y'all want pink wax, you can add a couple drops of paint to clear wax to white wax, and you can make colored wax. It does change the consistency of the wax a little, makes it dry a little bit faster. You can make any color wax you want using DIY wax and DIY paint. Or DIY wax and pigments. That is a big possibility as well. Pink wax would be pretty in the spring on one of these candlesticks. All right, I don't think she heard me or she's asleep. So give me 2 seconds. My house is not very big. I'm coming. All right. Ta-da! I just ran across the entire house. That's how small it is. Okay. Gorgeous. So like I said, I will finish both of these completely. I'll paint the bottoms, make sure we are good to go before I ship them. And I will put the finished picture in the link or in the listing, so you can see the before and after too. I thought that would be fun. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to my website again. The flips that I'm doing today, all the products, all the brushes are all on my website. If you're catching the replay, I will put more specific links in for you. Leslie says they're beautiful. Thank you, thank you. You guys are so nice. If I'm ever sad, I just hop on live and I get to hang out with all of my friends. So this is mostly dry. I'm gonna try to dry it just a little bit more around the edges so I can show you the sanding technique. Then we will probably hop off for the day. Again, I will finish this up off of camera. I need to paint the back of it, a little bit of touch-up paint here and there, and I can post a final picture. in community. I'm going to seal this white Swan up with just clear wax so it will stay white. And it was like an ugly gold laminate mess underneath, so I will not be distressing it through either. May do a little dark wax around the edges using the same technique I did with the white wax. So you guys will be able to see that as well. Everybody's saying hi to each other. I love it. Y'all are so awesome. We have such a great community. I think you were right, Bev. She said this is, it needed to cool down. I just needed to give it a second. So smart. Be careful drying your paper. Obviously, if it gets really hot from this heat gun, it's going to burn it. That same thing can happen with your paint too. If you're using milk paint and a heat gun, you can get a lot of bubbling and crackling, so you got to be careful. Keep it moving and don't get it too close. I use a fan a lot and just put my things in front of a fan. And of course that heat gun gets very hot, so you got to be careful. Okay, so this is dry now, mostly. And around the edge we have just a little bit of tatter, right? So I'm going to now take my sanding block. Actually, I think I'll just use a piece of paper today. This is 120 grit. When I sand this down around the edges, it probably will poke a little bit of that original finish back through, which I will go through and just touch up with the white Swan. If you wanted to avoid that, you could do a nice crisp clean cut before you even apply your paper, and you can avoid this step completely. But I like the distressed look, and I will distress the whole thing too. So with the 120 grit sandpaper, I'm gonna again sand in a downwards motion right across the edge. When I do that, this little extra strip of paper that's left will just rip very nicely off. And this gives it a good, authentic edge where it doesn't look like I just went and cut it. A little more aged, a little more vintage, which is, of course, the look I love. The Cottage Birds paper, in fact, most of Jamie's papers are very, like, distressed, vintagey looking anyway. That's hurting my arm. My arm's tired. I did arms yesterday. So again, sand in that downwards motion, and then just tear that extra paper off. It's still maybe just a touch wet. It's not cured. In an ideal world, you just give stuff time to dry. In a 1 hour video, you rush it. I've been looking at this box for months, guys. Months and months and months. And I'm like, I don't have any silverware. I don't have any silverware. I thought maybe I'd use it as a display in my booth for like vintage silverware. And then I saw Jessie's post. My girl Jessie from Urban Legends Antiques did a beautiful velvet lined dresser. And I was like, you know what? We're doing this. This can be used for so many things. What do you guys got planned for the weekend? Anything fun happening? Halloween's over, festivities are winding down. Chilling out before the next 2 big holidays or what? Like I said, I'm gonna pull out my, woohoo, a bunch of extra patina that dripped down over there, I didn't notice. I'm gonna pull out my Christmas decorations, see what's gonna fit in here. I'll have a decorating video, part 1 at least, up on Sunday, and then I'm going to be listing a ton of my personal Christmas decor. So that will also be featured in Sunday's video. I just have too much, you guys, too much. There's no use in storing it, paying to store it somewhere. So again, just sanding over the edge. And once I do that, the rest of that paper comes right off. Easy peasy. So now I've got a nice clean edge, but it is authentic. It is authentically distressed. Now, I do have a few wrinkles in my paper. Like I said earlier, I was not worried about that because I'm going to take this sandpaper now. This is a 120 grit. You could also probably use a 220. And go over those wrinkles to give it just a little bit of distressing. There's a little part right here I need to put some more patina, so I'm not going to distress right there right now. So just a couple times back and forth. Let's do half of this bird and not the other half. So you can distress as much as you want or as little as you want. I distressed this half of the bird and not this half, so you can tell it just really gives it a beautiful time-worn look, which is why then I said I wasn't that worried about that thumbprint right there. I kind of messed it up earlier. Sand right over it. A little bit on that guy. Oh, it's so pretty. So again, this is the Cottage Birds paper. JRV decoupage paper. The JRV decoupage paper has its own collection. It is $6.95 a sheet. The paper is 18-pound paper, which means it's very, very thin, but it's durable. 30 by 20 sheets, you can slap it right onto a piece of furniture, or you can cut it up and use it on little projects like this. So I saved all the scraps from this piece, and now I've got these beautiful little details I can go in and use on some little projects. Love it. The decoupage paper ships flat rate for $1.95, so if that's the only thing you're ordering, shipping is only $1.95. I just dropped my link again to my site, and if you're watching the replay, check down in the description box or check the live chat. All right, I think I'm gonna finish this up off camera. We've been on for almost an hour. Thank you, Rashonda. She said it looks good. Jane says she loves it. Thank you, thank you. Oh, let's look at the inside if you're just hopping on. So this was a vintage silverware container box, I'm sorry. But I was thinking paintbrushes, makeup brushes, jewelry, makeup, etc. It could be whatever you want. The velvet's in really good shape. I'm gonna clean it up really well. And I was thinking I would leave the legs dark wood. What do we think? I think they're a nice contrast to the birds. And then I'm gonna do some nice dark wax here just to get that white to blend with the top a little bit better. Bev, oh, you're so sweet. You're making me tear up. I'm not gonna read those comments, y'all, or I'm gonna cry. Not today. Thank you though, I appreciate it. So I will finish these up. I will list the before and after pictures in the listings. There's a new collection on my site called Painted Live. We will be live every single Thursday from here on out, either 10:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be sure to post links in community to let you guys know. That way you can set your reminders. And if you don't mind, thank you, Leslie, please give me a big thumbs up. Share this out with a friend. That's going to help my channel grow. I am at, I think, like 11,400 subscribers, somewhere in there. And I want to be to 20,000 by the end of 2022. So I think we can do it. If we got this far in about a year, we can get to 20,000 by then, right? Maybe even more. What do you think? All right, y'all, I will see you on Sunday. I will be back here with an edited video beginning my Christmas decorating, and I will post pictures of the final projects here over on my Facebook, my Instagram, and in community if you want to see the final projects. If you're interested in any of the paint and products I used today or these flips, you can find them again on my site, upcycledbybri.com. See y'all later. Bye, guys. Bye, friends.